Hello, let's talk about maths. But first, I will do a quick round up. I'm sorry. Ankylosing spondylitis patients tend to have higher than average problems with their dental and gum problems. I am one of them. From even childhood, the dentist would ask, why are you eating so many sweets? I didn't eat sweets. We didn't have money for sweets. We didn't have money for food. I never ate sweets. It's just what happens. And then babies come and the calcium is leached even more. So right now I'm struggling with pain in my bottom jaw and top tooth. I'm hoping it's temporary. It's stopping me from talking well because every breath is sore. So I'm sorry if I'm going to sound weird. It's like when I put my mouth together, it's extra pain. So back to our week. Our week has been horrible. Physically, every little moment that is nice or cute is veiled by a layer of constant pain, constant fatigue. Even when it's happy, I'm fighting the pain. While I acknowledge it, I'm fighting the pain. It's when I share good things, I'm sharing so that people know I acknowledge that there are good things, but they don't feel good because I'm in pain. I don't know how to describe it.
There's lots I no longer share online because it's people they feel, you can see their action, they're so happy, but for me the glee and joy isn't there. The funniness isn't that funny. It's more I'm acknowledging that God is still good even though he's still bad. Even though he's allowing bad, and I can't miss the bad because I'm feeling it in that moment. It's always there. And also just the behaviors of my children are always there. But I wanted to share. So I had this little yesterday. I lay down. I forgot to lock my door in the evening. I lay down and my girl walked in with her ubiquitous grapes. And then she lay on top of me, which she does often with her dad as well. She doesn't lie next to us. She's not like a 5-year-old, her twin sister who says, come, let me lie next to you. She lies on top of me. I am in pain. She has sharp elbows. She doesn't care. She's not gentle. She's wearing shoes. And so I got out of bed because she was on top of me. I made space for her because she doesn't understand that when she's on the edge, she will fall. And she does then fall. So I had to move her. And the picture that would have come out would have looked so cute. Oh, she's in your bed eating grapes. But no one would have realized the agony of my missing out on rest and my having to move a not very light baby, and the heartache of watching your own child constantly eating, and knowing that if you deny them, or when you deny them, they will scream and cry because they feel hungry.
You're not gonna finish all that.
Those are the things that people are blind to because they don't live my life. They don't know. They just see the happy photo, the cute photo. But there's so much behind it, and it's sometimes unbearable.
it's yeah, it's shrouded in misery. So where are we? School, special life, my special life. That's where I was going. I'm sorry. Um, so our non-talking angel is still mostly non-talking. It's so hard. It's so painful to talk to someone who they're growing older, but they're not getting any better. If she answers a question, it will be one time out of 30. And that one time we all are so happy. The problem now is my teenagers, especially, and my husband, he says he has to really be conscious about it. They pay a lot of attention because it's like, she spoke something, and then it's, wow, but forgetting that she's got a little twin who doesn't understand. All she sees is praise. All she sees is extra hugs for her little sister. For her, yeah, she is little, 2 minutes younger than her. So we need to balance that. That's one of the things about our special life. We need to balance that. And my mic, I'm still testing it out. I don't like it. It's not as good as the other one, but the other one had the wire. I might need to find money next month for a more expensive one and see if that'll be better. I'm sorry about the quality of sound. If it's too bad, write in the comments, please. And I mean it. If the sound is too bad, write in the comments. What I have noticed is when I sing the memory verse for the children, half of the note just disappears. It's the mic. And yet before, with the other one, it picked up the entire tune. So that is a problem. I'm sorry, I'm digressing because that's what our special life is like. It's everything is going on at once. It's not okay. My son needs to go, my oldest son must go back to the pulmonologist. I'll focus on that. How was the appointment? At the same time, he's telling me there's a crisis going on with some other child. Like yesterday, my special life. My daughter, Amarissa, I've told you before that she is low registration. Her sensory profile is low registration, i.e., she needs extra, like the emotion needs to be extra for her to really register it as an emotion. So if she were to be super surprised, then she'd feel happy. Whereas with another child, you just give them a gift and they're so happy, happy, happy. I gave them toys that I ordered. I ordered toys this month. We didn't have any last month. And her sister, her 5-year-old, was like, "Oh, wow, it's like a birthday." It was just one little set of trains, magnetic trains. It's like it's our birthday. It's like a big gift. Oh, I'm so happy. And she was just blank. Thanks, Mom. She does say thanks. She's always polite. But her feelings are not there unless it's extreme. Back to the pain issue, which if you have been following for a long time or if you have rewound to the beginning, that's why she ended up in hospital, because she didn't feel the spider bite. She didn't feel the infection growing until it grew so bad that I noticed it. And she only felt it when she bumped her leg on something hard. So, yes, here yesterday, this was yesterday, Thursday. No, today's Thursday. Yesterday, Wednesday. I noticed that her cream top is bloody everywhere and we didn't know where it came from. She herself couldn't tell us why it was bloody. I took it into the wash. Had a period arrived, but then why would it be her top, not something else? That was in the morning. And then later on in the evening, I'm reading to them, to her and Micaiah. This time not in bed. I'm reading to them and I notice she's wiping her mouth. She's not really concentrating, she's not realizing it. It's just she can feel drool. So she wipes her mouth and as she takes and she uses her sleeve. And as she brings her arm down, it's red. And I look at her face more and there's wet, but I mean our skin is brown. You can't see blood really when it's wiped, especially it's mixed with saliva. It was coming from her mouth. And what had happened was because she doesn't feel pain, her tooth was loose, not very loose, but it was loose enough for her to feel it and figure it must come out. And so it came out too early and it had been flowing the whole day. Didn't bother her because she didn't realize that this extra in my mouth is just all saliva to her until the evening. So we did the gauze thing, didn't work. We did the ice thing, it didn't work. I ended up giving her one of my tablets. I'm meant to take two, so I figured for a child, it's one. I mean, that's what they use for all kinds of bleeding, not just the bleeding that I'd been prescribed for. And I figured, okay, in the morning, we will then take her to a dentist or to the doctor. Fine. Thankfully, this morning, she's now fine. I don't know if it's the tablet or just time, so I'm going to wait. That was Amarissa. In fact, I'm going to focus on Amarissa. If I find pictures of anything else we did today that illustrates this week, that illustrates our special life, I will share it.
You happy you brought your grapes? Well, it's my grapes, mommy's grapes. They're mommy's grapes. May I have some, please? Please? May I have some grapes? I want grapes, you dodo. Baby.
Who made the grapes? God made the grapes. Okay. Green, yes. Great job, Rio. Green. Oh, well done. You took them out of the round tin.
My daughter had an activity to do, not Amarissa, Urinele. She had to put otters in a pond. Lowercase versus uppercase, that's what she's learning. No matter what I tried to do, it had to be straight in a line. Yes, I remembered something else special. Autistics love order. Disorder, no, it makes them anxious too. So she put them all in a line, even though they didn't fit. Same with her brother. I had to do. I did one of their vision therapy exercises. This one is for their brain and their primitive reflexes, which haven't yet left them.
Okay, are you ready? Arms straight out. Alright, hands straight out also. So, elbows facing inwards. One.
So my daughter had done hers. She had taken off her shoes and just kicked them off, and they happened to be behind each one behind the other. Her brother came, and because he is autistic, he continued the line. Makes sense after all, and it looks cool for him. He loves lines. That is my special life. There's order in the autistics. There's obsession with flowers. When a child doesn't have PDA, they will obey you and they will understand danger when you warn them. But my angels know. So with my flowers that are still growing, and my husband said, "Well, she missed out." He said, "Karen," or whatever her name is. She missed out on their gift because he sees them on the camera, the children, just standing there and looking at the flowers. He's away out of the city. So just to chill in, sometimes he looks on the camera and if they're around, he talks to them through the camera. And yeah, he just sees them standing there and just marveling at the flowers. For me, it's my daughter, my non-talking daughter. I try and move it so that it balances and stands upright, but she then turns it away, turns it again so that she can see it, and then it keeps leaning. But it's cute that she is more mature now. Instead of picking it like she used to take my flowers when I was gifted from my husband's work when I had an operation, she doesn't take the flower out. She just wants to look at it, but she wants to look at it at her angle. They love the flowers. I'm happy. They love nature. Well, they don't love nature. They love flowers, both of the children and the girl, and Amarissa, our almost 10-year-old next month.
Fall over. We have to change it around.
Change it around.
So that it can go straight.
Right.
But whenever I try, move it, she moves it again.
Mommy, Mommy, do you know what's that? Do you know
Yes.
what's that?
Is it a P-O?
Flower.
Flower.
See, this is gold.
So we're enjoying the flowers still, and school is still the same. It's still the same, and that has also been weighing heavily on my mind. It's the fact that there's not much progress for Micaiah nor for Amarissa. And now we go to today's topic, which is dyscalculia. It's more than just struggling with maths or being bad with maths. It's a lifelong inability to do maths. They struggle with memorizing facts. So that's why with counting, I had been so happy because the other day my child had been able, Amarissa, to count to 39 before she lost it. But this week she can't count from. After 29, she said 50. After 49, I got it back on track. After 49, she said 60. So they struggle with just memorizing maths facts. They can't do that. That's a real dyscalculia patient. These are just some of the symptoms. I might also add in what is appropriate that happens with, or relevant, that happens with my daughter, because I'm just describing dyscalculia in case one of you suspects that your child has it. So they struggle with memorizing facts. They struggle with even just telling apart the plus and minus sign. So they won't remember that, okay, plus means add. And I've seen that with her schoolwork as well. They need manipulatives and it's forever. Dyscalculia is not treatable. Dyscalculia is a disorder that will be forever. So if they're doing things like 5 minus 3, she might need her fingers. She will never remember. Well, we've been trying for 3 years now. She can't remember 2 plus 2. She can't remember 0 plus 4. She knows that 0 is nothing. But if you say 4 plus 0, her immediate answer is 0. Or rather, if you say 0 plus 4, her immediate answer is 0. Or if you say 4 minus 0, she might say 0 and then correct herself. It's not fluid. It's not reflexive. Maths, if it's really a dyscalculia problem, is not reflexive. They can't memorize. So it's inability to memorize. It's an inability to remember signs like plus and minus. They struggle with telling time on an analog clock, quarter past, half past. We did try that once. I thought, maybe she's too young, let me stop. So I haven't done it. I haven't tried it this year because she was struggling. And this is where the problem is. It's a lifelong struggle. When they are adults, it leads to even children, the same thing. Anxiety, depression. Some then they internalize the struggle and it is anxiety and depression. Some then externalize it by acting or misbehaving. The rule breakers. It's not their fault. They just imagine living in a life or living in a world where you are constantly wrong. Directionality, they can't remember left versus right. They struggle just with left versus right. Now imagine them trying to figure out how to get to a job interview. If directionality is a problem, timekeeping is a problem. Even telling time is a struggle for people with dyscalculia. Timekeeping, they will not understand that if I've only got 10 minutes, I need to hurry up. And then they'll be late. And then they get into trouble at work or wherever they were meant to be. And then they feel bad. They struggle with everything, just even remembering their objects. They tend to lose objects, misplace objects, place them where they shouldn't be. Money. If you can't do maths, how will you know how to tip the waiter? You might want to tip the waiter, but you don't know how to calculate it. That's going to be hard for you when you're at the shop. You buy things, you assume you've got enough money. Oops, you actually don't because they can't do maths even as adults. So they will think they've got enough money, but then turns out they've got, let's say, items for 450, but they only have 350 rand. And even the 350, they will need to hand it over to the cashier and she will count it out for them. Dyscalculia is life. It destroys your quality of life. It really does destroy your quality of life. Let me just see what other facts I forgot. I had my paper, but my excuse is brain fog. I'll be back. As I said, they will need manipulatives to work out forever. Calculator, they will need it forever. It's not something you can outgrow. The other thing is, which I've mentioned already, they'll be able to do, let's say, one task, a mathematical task today, but then tomorrow it will be gone. There's no consistency. It's not in their memory. It's not kept and stored in the brain. People with dyscalculia will tend to have other problems, either ADHD, though it can occur on its own, but they might have ADHD or dyslexia. And sometimes it's actually misdiagnosed as ADHD because it has the same symptoms, forgetting things, and they will hate, like my poor angel, they will hate maths. This week, my daughter said she's feeling happier about school because she's always hated school. I believe part of it is because I'm making school easier and easier for her. I'm reading more for her, slowing down for her. I'm asking more questions before we come to the end when they're meant to then answer questions. And I'm requiring less of her. I'm not making her write much. She actually even chooses when to write by hand because, like with my son, sometimes I can't read what she's written. Literally can't understand what she's written. And also distance. If you don't, they struggle with distance, and I might have mentioned this earlier on. But if you don't know that that place is 30 minutes away, you'll be late or too early. You won't be able to calculate, okay, it's probably a kilometer away. That one, sorry, that slip. I grew up with my dad, and many Africans in South Africa say kilometer instead of kilometer. So I've heard my dad say kilometer so many times because he was always counting kilometers. So yes, telling distance, how far something is. Is it far? Is it really far? Or is it close? What if it's actually not as close as they think it is? That's part of dyscalculia. They lose track of time. They don't realize that they've been at this particular task for way too long until the boss says, have you done the other thing? And they haven't. Or the mother, or the aunt, or the teacher, anyone. And if you're constantly being reminded that you failed at finding the cloth because you forgot to go left instead of right, and then you failed at doing this because you couldn't remember and you couldn't memorize, it's hard. I can definitely see why it would be anxiety provoking and depressing. Definitely. They will also struggle with remembering names. It's not only about numbers, it's the brain and the memory as well. So they might forget people's names. That also will be something embarrassing the older you grow. Because when you're older, that's when you realize, oh, I'm meant to remember. Children aren't as aware of that. And the other thing, they might write numbers in the wrong order. I haven't made my daughter write numbers, but her maths book asks her to write the number that comes before and the number that comes after. She struggles. If it's something like when they begin, if it's 20 and then she must write 19 and 21, it's difficult. She can do one, because she knows 0, 1, 2, but after that, she has to count from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, before 20 is 19, and after 20, 20, 21. And sometimes she gets it wrong, sometimes she gets it right. She is able to go forward, but not backward. It's not like they're completely oblivious to certain things, but it's a big struggle. So if your child does much worse at maths than at any other subject, dyscalculia is a possibility. Yeah, I think that's really where my summary is going with dyscalculia. You need to have it assessed by an educational psychologist. Well, that's who we're going to use. We've long suspected it, even our educational psychologists suspected it, but here we were told in South Africa. I don't know what other places what the rules are, what the DSMV says, but you can only assess it after age 10 or after grade 3, which was when you're 10. But my girl is not doing grade 3 subjects, so I just looked at age 10 and we're going to have her assessed because part of the reason she's not progressing is because she does have learning disorders. She probably has dyslexia. She has visual processing, so she can't understand her school, so she is that much slower. And her maths is abysmal, completely abysmal. So even the job she's going to have when she's an adult, she won't be working at McDonald's, working out change, pressing the till, getting numbers, because even now she says a 9 is an 8. She will mess things up if she has to press in, type in the number. I'm helping her, but I'm making things easy. But at the same time, if it's forever, I also need guidance. I need to know what is worth trying, really. Obviously, I will try everything. In fact, I will try everything, but I'm not going to go above what she can do at the moment. So for now, we are doing all our maths, even 4 plus 1, with a manipulative, which means with something like either fingers, or I use blocks or these plastic counting sticks, as I call them, and it's normal. I've made it normal, so she doesn't feel like I'm not good enough. I'm not like other children. And that, my friends, is the beauty of homeschooling. She doesn't see any other children who aren't using manipulatives. So for her, it causes less mental health challenges or problems. On that note, I shall end this video. I hope you all are healthy. And I hope that if your child has dyscalculia or you suspect it, that you find the right person to diagnose it, that they do the proper testing, and that you get the support you need for your child's future. We here are stuck. I joined the group for the South African remedial curriculum, the official country's remedial curriculum. It ends at grade 5. And according to those who have begun the curriculum or done it, it's really that they've just made grade 1 last 2 years, grade 2 last 2 years. That's what I saw. And it ends at grade 5. After that, the children are on their own. There's no, and then after this, they will go to this trade school. You have to figure it out on your own. And there aren't many institutions that are geared towards children like ours. So do your research, start early, because the options are quite limited. Living Link is one of them in South Africa. Look up the Living Link and see what you can do. And if you've got extra money, please donate to them. They do a very good job helping young adults to find a place in society. Special needs is hectic, but it's here to stay, and we need to accept it and deal with it. We need to accept it. Our children can't be what their brains will stop them from being. We need to be kind. I hope we are not putting pressure on our children, even children who don't have neurological problems. Let's not put too much pressure on them. Academics is not the end of the world. Of course, they must do their best. That is a clear one. They must do their best. But may we not put school ahead of God, ahead of reading the Bible, ahead of being a good child of God. I've seen that happen before, and I've seen the mother regret it years later, but it's too late now. So may we remember who our children belong to and what He desires of us as parents of His children. Okay, let's start with directionality. You must book it and tell me which time you're going to go. Start here. I come back. How do you know? And the side is your right hand side. Go down one.
years ago, I used to see all these homeschool moms saying that the best part of homeschooling is that they don't get dressed. They can spend all day in their nighties and pajamas. And I thought, that is not me. Thank you very much. But Miss 5-year-old has confounded me. She asks to wear, first it started with, it was gowns, and now she wants to be in a nightie. So I've designated one nightie as a daytime nightie. Yes, it is ironic.